Do I need to... Should I turn this up? No, probably not. I mean, I'm a loud person by nature. It's part of my job. It's not part of my job. That was a lie. This is a very weird format for me. So, hello. Hi, my name's Lo. Welcome to my YouTube channel and to this YouTube video that you have voluntarily clicked. Here's the thing. I believe sincerely that I am one good joke away from being invited on SNL. I am the funniest person on this side of the Northern Hemisphere. So, this is a sketchbook and yap session where you can sketchbook with me while I run my mouth. If you don't want to listen to me, feel free to turn me off. Or use me as a podcast in the background while you draw. We're drawing together right now, except I drew this like last week, and also you are not actively responding to anything, but feel free to leave comments as the video progresses if you have anything really strongly opinionated to say. My first apology, always great when you have to start off with an apology. I got a new camera. We all know this. I got a new spanking new brand new camera, but I didn't really look into the focus of it, so I had it on continuous focus, which is not what I should be having it on. I do fix it towards like the latter third, perhaps fourth of the video. But well, you know, it just please just stick around. I promise I won't do it again. So, I've been having some issues with perfectionism, which like, what's new, you know? Can I get a split screen of this? Hold on, I'm Googling as we're doing. Split screen MacBook. How do we do this? Okay, wait. Okay, first we go to exit full screen apparently, and then we do, oh my goodness. Isn't this fun for you to listen to? Where's my notes? Here's my notes. I even took notes for this because I might be funny, but I can't be funny just out of the blue. Okay, here we go. So, I've been struggling with perfectionism and the feeling of like constantly having to provide something of like sustainable merit on my YouTube channel. I'm like, I can't just throw a random little speed draw out there and then skedaddle. But hey, here's the thing. Hey, I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this, and I'm gonna get real close. This is my YouTube channel. I know. Groundbreaking. So, this is what we're doing now. I love talking, but at some point I need to just, for the sake of other people around me, not do it to them. So I'm holding all 1,463 of you hostage. It's you and me, baby, and this video that I've created to keep you entertained, because we're all iPad babies at heart, you know. I'm not going to pretend that I don't play phone games as I have videos on in the background. I'm no better than anyone else. Also, my original idea was to like maybe have myself in like a little box down in the corner here. I have not washed my hair, and I'm sparing the both of us. Honestly, like this is not just for me and my pride and my confidence. It's as much for you. And because this is technically a YouTube channel about art, I will mention quickly what I am drawing. I got myself a Moleskine sketchbook, and the thing is, I know, do we remember how I a few months ago talked about how I didn't like tone paper? It turns out the girl's a fucking liar. I got myself a Moleskine medium-sized sketchbook. I did blow smoke up that sketchbook's arse. I do love that sketchbook size. It is great. So I got a medium Moleskine sketchbook. So that's what we're in currently, what you're watching. The paper's really smooth. It's really nice and it's really smooth, and I really like the size. I don't like the Moleskine large size because it's so thin. You know, it's a sketchbook but with body image issues. Anyways, I'm working with mostly colored pencils. I do pull out a singular fineliner and a posca marker at the end just for some razzle dazzle, but mostly it's just me and my colored pencils because I do one video working with colored pencils and I suddenly think that I'm the greatest of all time. Okay, enough about the sketchbook spread. The supplies that I used, all of the pencils and the colors are in the description. If you have any more questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them. Enough about the art. Let's talk about my favorite subject. Me. I've been working a lot. For those of you who don't know, 1,463 subscribers is not enough to sustain a regular grown human being. I live in Norway, which is a very expensive country. It's also a very rich country, so like I'm not going to complain, but you know, I'm not rolling in it. And for my regular everyday job, I work in the television industry. The most famous show I regularly work on is Ice Road Rescue on National Geographic, which it's a ridiculously famous show. If I had to describe that show to you, it is really tough guys pulling tough trucks out of tough ditches. And it's also always snowing and dramatic. And every time someone asks me, like, what are you working on? And I say Ice Road Rescue, and they go, oh, is that the truck show? And I know for a fact that they are not talking about Ice Road Rescue. They are referring to the other, you know, arguably more well-known show, Ice Road Truckers. And I have to go, no. Our show is what happens when those ice road truckers can't stay on the road. That's us. That's when we show up. So I'm currently on a different show. I don't think that I am allowed to say what it is. So, you know, just watched the Norwegian broadcasting channel in like March. You'll figure it out, probably. But I've been traveling for it. And here's the thing, I hate sleeping in beds that aren't my own. I'm like a temperamental toddler. I need everything. I need the temperature to be just right, and I need to be in my own bed because it needs to smell like me. I need to be able to have exactly 2 pillows. One of them needs to be larger than the other. I am a menace. So, you know, sleeping in beds that aren't my own is a bit of an issue. I am a control freak at heart. I enjoy very much. I enjoy living and just existing in comfort and not being taken out of my regular habitat. You know, like a zoo animal. But for the past few weeks, I have slept in hotels 3 times. I have a definite ranking on which ones are the best. The first night I slept in the first hotel bed, because it's different hotel beds as well. It's not the same one. I can't get used to one bed because I'm only sleeping there for one night, and then we're done shooting, and then we're moving on to the next city and the next hotel bed that I need to somehow figure out how I'm going to sleep in. So, the first night I slept in one of those hotel beds, I woke up every hour. And I was freaking... You know that feeling of when you're about to fall asleep, but you feel like you're falling? I had that feeling, but without the falling. I woke up and I'm like, oh. I woke up and I felt like what I assume, like, That's So Raven felt like when she was having her visions. Like, everything, just, whoa, what is happening? And I'm like opening my eyes. I'm in a room that I don't recognize. I'm in a bed that it's larger than my own bed. The pillows aren't right. The bedding isn't right. Why am I here? Why is it 2 a.m.? And I kept waking up because I'm terrified of oversleeping. Especially if I know that I have to get up. It's really important. Because, you know, an entire television show isn't going to be happy if they have to postpone the shoot for like 45 minutes because I've overslept. So, terrified of oversleeping. Another thing that I hate about travel, because I'm recording this on GarageBand, so I don't see actual time. I don't know how much time has elapsed. I can't wait to see how long, because I'm still hot. Like, I am on one bullet point still. I believe it's been like 5 minutes since I started talking about beds. I don't like sharing beds with people. And from that, you can deduce that I am indeed not in a relationship. And every time that I've had to share a bed with someone, a significant other or a friend, I'm like, don't breathe at me, don't touch me, don't look at me, don't move. I don't want the bed to move. I am made to be alone. I do not. Every time you hear about grown couples having separate bedrooms and people are like, oh my God, no, challenges in the marriage. I'm like, no, that is the only way that my marriage is actually staying intact, in fact, is if I had my own bed or a bedroom that I can kick my significant other into and be like, okay, you stay here tonight because I need 3 pillows. So when I went to Sweden a few months ago, and I shared a bed with my best friend, whom I have shared a bed with before, and to be fair, it was just as much of a disaster for me when I did it the first time. But like, I woke up constantly, and I'm like, are you sleeping well? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, well, you breathed too loudly at around 3 a.m, so I woke up. And I have always prided myself, because my best friend, bless her, love her, genuinely don't know if what I would do with my life if I didn't have her. But she is, what are they called? The Furbies? But it's not the Furbies. Which one is it? The ones that you're not supposed to feed. We're Googling again. Don't feed. No, we're not. Don't feed after. Gremlins. She's a gremlin. If she doesn't have her regular scheduled meal, if her blood sugar drops below a certain level, she's a danger to herself and others. It is horrible. And I've always prided myself as like, oh, well, I am not that. I don't get hungry. And then on that trip, I came to a realization about myself that I am somehow actually worse because I don't get hangry. However, when I'm tired, I'm like a petulant child. I'm just mad at everything and everyone around me. So when those 3 days in Sweden were up and I hadn't slept well in two nights and we were taking a train back home, every time that train made a stop, every time there was an announcement over the speaker, I thought I was about to commit acts that went against, every law of man. I cried at one point because we had to switch trains and I was so frustrated. I was just mad. I ended up, for like the last half of the entire train ride, I covered my head in my recently bought Taylor Swift Eras Tour merch sweater, covered my entire head in it, put my AirPods in, and snoozed. Nobody talked to me, nobody looked at me. I was horrible. I was horrible to be around. I did have to repeat that recently, like last week, after a 12-hour shoot. I did have to take a train home. The train was delayed 40 minutes. I got home at 2:15 in the morning. And then I had to get up the next morning for the next episode. I was not kind. I was not kind and considerate at that time. Okay, now that I've spent an exorbitant amount of time talking about my sleeping habits, let's move on to my next bullet point, which doesn't make me seem like a better person than the last one, because we have street sellers, like most places do, and sometimes I genuinely believe, because of the place I live, that we have like a main little square of the part of the city that I live in. I genuinely believe that the street sellers gather around one of those whiteboards like they do in movies about American football, where the coach is like moving around little magnets on the board, trying to explain to the players where they're going to be. Because the placement of these street sellers on this square, they have placed themselves in such a way that you cannot avoid them. Like, it is impossible to get away from them. And sometimes if you just look down in the ground, they will bend down 90 degrees at the waist just to make eye contact with you. It is threatening. It is threatening, and I don't appreciate it. And I have lied with this accent. I have the ability to lie about not being Norwegian, because genuinely nobody who is Norwegian sounds like this. At least if they're well in the head. I have claimed that I am just traveling. I'm just visiting some friends. I'm not Norwegian, so I don't need a Norwegian mobile phone membership. I've lied about everything. I've been like, oh, I need to leave. I have a meeting to get to. I have said that I'm already using a certain thing, even though I have no idea what they're even trying to sell me. But lately, I had 2 happenings that really do top the list of things that, I'm really trying to get out of this conversation. The first one was, and I don't think I made the conscious choice of doing this, which makes it even weirder, but as a street seller was walking towards me, my AirPods had died. So I was raw dogging life. And this street seller comes towards me, and I was halfway through the movement when I realized what was happening. I did the sign language and just said, I'm deaf. Dear listener, I am in fact very much not deaf, and I do question if this is like ableist of me to do. I just went, I'm deaf, kept walking. And as I was walking off, I was like, what was that? What was that? Just say you're not interested. And then a few weeks later, I went to the store. I originally went to pick up a package. I did forget the package. So I'm leaving the store. I ended up buying like cheese or something. And I'm walking out of the store. And I managed to get by a street seller because, they were busy with someone. It's like that saying, like, you don't need to be faster than a bear. You just need to be faster than the other person that the bear is chasing. So I was just happy that they had, gotten their hands on someone else. But, I get past them and I'm happy. And then I realized, oh no, my package. So I turn around 180 degrees and the seller is now free. It is, this time I actually did make a conscious choice and I started sprinting. I sprinted past this street seller and into the store. It was perhaps 150 meters, which is like, imagine seeing someone, because, the street seller is one thing. Imagine being one of the people sitting at the nearby cafes, watching a grown woman walk, turn 180 degrees, and then sprint into a grocery store. I hope I provided entertainment for someone. I did get my package, and I did get past the street seller a second time without being stopped. So, was it worth it? Yes. But at what cost? My next bullet point just says compliments on my handwriting. I have a very tiny, very neat handwriting. I have had several people in my life look at my handwriting and go, I don't think I've ever seen a smaller handwriting in my life. One time, a friend of mine who wears glasses, he wasn't wearing his glasses, and he said, this, to me, looks just like a bunch of punctuation. I live for the moments when people are like, oh my God, you have the best writing I've ever seen. Like, you have such beautiful handwriting. I'm like, thank you. I was, in fact, that girl in class with her 17 highlighters who made the really elaborate headers for her study notes. And guess what? Great grades. I had great grades when I left school. So, you know, you can bully me all you want, but it worked. It worked. And then I come to you with a dilemma that I love and that I have thought about several times. And every time someone asks me this, I've hit the jackpot because I have such a thought out answer. And that is, how many seagulls would have to appear in your apartment before you're like, somebody is putting them here? And I have thought about this. My answer is 3. And you might question why the answer isn't 1 or 2. The answer is because at 1 seagull, my response would be, oh my God, someone's left the window open. And it was probably me. Someone's left the window open and a seagull got in through a window. I don't know how we'll get the seagull out. That is not part of this equation. That is not part of the question. So I'm not going to think about it. The second seagull, my response would be, oh my God, I left the window open again. Because I am so scatterbrained that I genuinely, earlier today, contemplated booking a doctor's appointment because it is getting ridiculous. I've lost water bottles, like hydro flasks, like really big, expensive ones. I keep forgetting my bags around. And it has, and the even more turning the oven off than that a couple of times. I don't want to talk about that one. And like the ridiculous part is that I have OCD tendencies. Like I'm checking these things. I'm constantly checking if I have my keys. But if I at any point forget to check, you can bet your bottom dollar that those keys are not in my pocket. Which is why I believe that I do not have faith in myself enough to not think that I would let a seagull into my apartment at least twice. At number 3, I would be like, someone's fucking with me. But with 1 and 2, I am willing to believe that it is my own fault. And the last bullet point for this video, and I'm hoping this voiceover is long enough for, like, to cover the drawing part. I mean, I'm recording this before I've edited the drawing part, so I'm just gonna edit the drawing part to cover the talking, because to be quite honest, to me, right now the most important part is me talking. I love talking. But I'm hoping that this is long enough for the drawing to make sense, but short enough that at least 5% of you are still here. My last bullet point is, I have my nails are ripping off. They are. Oh my God, I just remembered a next bullet point that I want to talk about. Never mind, I just lied. We are not done here. You're staying seated. My nails are like breaking off down at the base constantly. They are like ripping off, and I've started covering because my thumbs are the worst ones. I started covering them in band-aids because I'm like, well, this is stupid. We can't be doing this. And my nails are so flimsy now as well. So they're just ripping down at like the base. Like we are talking, you know, and everyone who's had long nails know what I talk about. Everyone who's probably also had short nails know what I talk about. The pain of a nail like breaking and ripping down just like right at the base. Right at the free edge. I do see why it was a very popular torture method back in the days to rip people's nails out of their fingers. Because genuinely, them just breaking that far down are painful enough. I'm so glad I'm not alive at a time when that was acceptable, because I would have been deemed a witch and my nails would have been promptly removed from my body. And my final little bullet note that I remembered, because it is something I've even had to talk about in therapy. I downloaded Hinge My best friend, she's been mentioned twice now in this video. My best friend, she's been in a happy, loving relationship for so many years. Like at least, oh my god, is it like 5 or 6 years or something like that? Maybe 7. She's not on dating apps, all right? So she was like, hey, can I play the phone game that is dating apps on your phone? And we had such a jolly old time going through Hinge. But the thing is, and I say this with all the love and respect, why are like 90% of women great and beautiful and funny and exceptional, and 90% of men have the amount of charm and personality as like a slightly damp kitchen cloth? It's awful. Some of the responses, because the thing is, if you don't know anything about Hinge, oh my god, you're so lucky. I wish I was like you. Every day I'm like, why am I not deleting this app? I check it like every 4 days. I look at the messages and I go, oh my god, I'm not doing this today, and then I close the app. Anyone wondering why I'm not in a relationship? But on Hinge, you choose prompts. You can choose prompts, and then you can either decide to put pictures, voice notes, videos, or text. And sometimes I ask myself, why are these men picking these prompts and then choosing the worst answers? Wait, hold on. I screenshot a lot of them because I text them to my friend to keep her updated. She has apologized. She said, I'm so sorry that I had you download this. Let's see. I'm gonna read you guys some of the things some of the best of the best. We have one guy who said, for the prompt, this year I really want to. He replied, really spontaneous. This year, I really want to really spontaneous. I can't do this. Then we have someone who said, I'm proud of my music taste. And really at that, I should have just stopped reading. But he says, I'm a freak to make playlists and organize what songs I like the best. And if that's you, great. But this smells like someone who will yell at me because I don't like prog rock. Because my most played artist this year is going to be like Chappell Roan or Taylor Swift. And I genuinely can't deal with it. This one is a classic. This keeps popping up. Dating me is like, and then they say, you'll have to find out. Choose a different prompt then. I'm not here to play guessing games. We're closing the phone. I can't do this. So, we have reached the end. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk. If you did choose to listen to me talk and not just turn me off or skip through the video. And if you did, at least, you're still here. I hope the past, 90 seconds of your life skipping through this video were great. Give me a like and a subscribe, and follow me on other social medias if you think my personality is as delightful as I do. My name's Lo, and I will yap at you later. Goodbye.